risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show. I'm Jeff, alongside with me, as always, are my partners in crime, Tarek.
To live for today and to love for tomorrow is the wisdom of a fool.
And Brian.
Poetry is for the weak. And it was a great wrestling week for one company.
Yes, and only one company, and meanwhile, I'm just sitting here confused, wondering what the hell you two did with your weekend. But anyway, we need to stop being vague here. Let's talk about the week that was, and boy, a week it was. So let's start off with one single yet very important bit of backstage news.
Indeed, let us go peek behind the curtain and check in on a little
backstage news.
Hey, we actually nailed it. All right. Very good, very good.
The more you do, the better it gets.
I'm pretty sure there's a punchline in there. Or that's what G said.
She's a whore.
She's a whore.
Speaking of which...
Speaking of whores,
TNA got canceled.
Destination America decided this is a dying company. It's time to pull the plug.
Yes.
Actually,
hold
on. Okay, this was a partnership that was never going to last in the first place because TNA does better overseas.
It does, yeah.
It does much better overseas than it does in the United States. They want to do overseas tours. Destination America refuses to show them on TV.
Well, because
that's what this is about. The ratings are great for Destination America. For the shows that they do, the ratings that TNA were getting were off the charts for Destination America. What it came down to was TNA wanted to do overseas stuff. Wanted to do tours of Japan, China, India, and Destination America refused to show. They didn't even want to show the England shows. They didn't want to put those on air, but they did. But they put their foot down on the other tours, and this was a dying partnership from the beginling.
I'm actually surprised that you were saying the ratings were sky high from what I've read.
For Destination America.
But it still was the fact that, from what I read, they were very disappointed in the ratings. It's just with how they were going from what I've read.
Here's the problem.
Major factor in it.
Here's the problem. Destination America, nobody watches it. Nobody gets it. Okay? So the people who were watching it on Spike, the maybe 700,000 extra people who were watching it on Spike.
Who were watching it whenever Bar Rescue wasn't on.
Yeah. You lost them by signing the contract with Destination America. Okay? So the people who were watching and were able to watch because they had the network, they stayed on. But you lost all the other people that don't have the network. Mm-hmm. Destination America, okay, it was still the highest rated show on their channel. They're a fledgling channel. It doesn't make sense to me why they canceled TNA. It brought further viewers to their channel.
Really, the rationale I heard, the only one that really makes sense at this point, because again, I heard all the information that you're telling me right now about them bringing in all the ratings. Really, the only reasoning I heard for them canceling TNA Impact in September was just like the new ownership of when WCW ultimately went under. The owners of the network of Destination America just don't like wrestling, and they just wanted to can it.
You see, then it makes no sense that they even signed the contract in the first place, because they've been with Destination America how long? 4 months? 5 months at this point?
It seems longer, but I actually do think it's about 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, so it's like, this is not like WCW, where it was on a network a certain network for what, 7-8 years?
Longer than that,
yeah,
I think.
Then ownership changed, and they were like, we don't want it anymore. Okay, this is a brand new company who signed a contract with a wrestling company. So what you just put out there makes absolutely no sense. And if that's what they're going with, then Destination America isn't going to be a TV station for long. Okay,
it's actually kind of funny when you were saying they didn't want to show any of the European tours or the English shows, and it just was like, well, what do you expect when you have a channel that has America in it? But then it just clicked. I'm like, wait a minute, Raw's on USA, and they still show the shows in England and all that. I'm like, whoa, that little joke is irrelevant. Talk about not knowing what the hell they're doing.
It's Destination America.
Destination
America.
Put the bird down.
Not realizing what they actually signed up for.
Probably that's
with this company and
like
jumping off as soon as they could, which definitely hurts TNA in the long run, but can actually improve them if they get a better deal.
If they get a better deal.
It could hurt, it could actually help, because Destination America hurt them in the ratings because of moving to a channel that nobody freaking knows, and maybe half the people that were watching it actually had it.
So what you're saying here right now is that even when the TV deal is over, you still think there's a future, any sort of future of any sort with TNA?
We thought they were done when they lost the contract with Spike. But they did keep going with Destination America. And they still have, 3 months?
They have till September.
They have till September. There's plenty of time to get another TV deal. There's plenty of time. So I'm not counting them out just yet. Talk to me again in September.
Here's the only thing that I can probably say that they would probably get is, once, from what I've heard, that they're trying to move SmackDown back to the USA Network.
Maybe Sci-Fi.
Maybe Sci-Fi would actually be like, okay, you can take the void that WWE left, come into their time slot, and there you go. Everybody wins. Sci-Fi still has a wrestling show that could bring them ratings, which is what SmackDown did. It was their highest rated show on their network compared to really bad sci-fi movies.
Sharknado 3, The Sharkening.
Anaconda versus Lake Placid.
Did that really happen?
Yes.
Are you serious?
I am 100% positive that actually was a thing.
Wow. I would actually almost want to see.
I watched 5 minutes of that movie and I'm just like, what is going on?
They were like, we made this movie. Let's throw it on at 3 a.m. on Sci-Fi. I don't know if anyone's actually going to watch this.
Mine was
I'm
actually...
pretty sure you just described the world premiere of Birdemic. All right,
but basically, okay, it's too soon to say that TNA is done. Talk to me again in September. There's still 4 months where they can figure crap out and get another TV deal. Until then, Destination America are idiots, and TNA is out in the cold once more.
Again.
Yeah, so I guess time will tell at this point. In the meantime, we had a pay-per-view, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We had a very good pay-per-view.
Yes, indeed. So let's get right into it. Let's go into WWE Payback, the event that was. First off, the first match that we cared about, the Ascension went over Curtis Axel and Macho Mandow. I did not expect this. I don't think anyone else did.
I was drinking. So the first they came out, Macho Mandow and Axelmania, and I was like, woo! Yay! Hey!
Yeah, how many beers deep were you?
I've been drinking all day.
Enough.
Okay,
enough.
That's all you need to know.
Just enough.
Enough. And it was just I wasn't expecting the result, but as I said in the prediction show, it wouldn't have been my holy crap, I wasn't expecting that victor if the Ascension won. I was like, it would be nice to see Sandow and Curtis Axel pick up the victory, but I wasn't surprised that the Ascension got him. I wasn't.
Remember on our prediction show, I was completely against it with Axelmania and Macho
And this
Mando.
just proved exactly why.
I do agree on that, but I will admit, at first, only when they had their entrances and they were actually going all out on it, with Axel actually dressed up as Hulk Hogan coming out to Real American, and Sandow coming out to Pop 'em Circumstance, and actually looking good this time. I'm just like, okay, I am actually really entertained by this. I love how into it these guys are getting. And then the result happened, and then I was shocked, but then I'm just like, you know what? I am not at all surprised. Even as faces, Sandow and Axel are just not getting a break.
No.
Yeah, it's...
Creative really hates them.
I don't think Creative hates them, or else they wouldn't be on the card. But still, I think they're having a hard time trying to get out of this perceived rut that they're in. But on the flip side of that, I'm just glad that the Ascension aren't being totally jobbed out right now.
I do too.
At least it's something.
At least it's something, and as long as they actually are given stuff that doesn't sound completely stupid, then yes, it will be right. They'll be put in the right direction for me, and being put in the Elimination Chamber tag team match definitely helped.
True. So at least there's still something going on. This could actually be the makings of a real feud.
Nah, not really.
No.
Hey, one can dream. One can dream.
American dream. Sorry.
How much you want to bet they're first out?
You're probably too right. More right than I want to admit. Anyway, moving on.
No. First out might go to the Matadors.
Never mind. Okay, so the hope is alive.
The hope is alive.
Next match, Sheamus went over Dolph Ziggler.
My favorite part of this match was when Sheamus stands up. Are you not entertained? I was like, yes.
I think so. Basically, this one went like we all expected it would. Am I correct in saying that?
I loved the fact that it's called Payback, right? And technically, okay, Dolph Ziggler got his payback.
We talked about
in the match.
We talked about that in the prediction show. We knew Sheamus was going to win, but we knew Ziggler was, as we said last week, and as you just said now, Ziggler is going to get his quote-unquote payback, and just putting his arse directly shaking it onto Sheamus's fist.
He got his payback, and then he got the absolute snot beat out of him after that. So it was like...
What was it, 10 stitches on his eyebrow?
10 stitches on his eyebrow from an errant headbutt.
Oh,
and that was... And then he couldn't even get up to take the bro kick correctly. Because you could see it in Sheamus's eyes. He was like...
It's like, okay, he's not getting up. At least he's on his knees, bro kick.
Yeah. So it was good. It was a good solid goatee. Classic goatee. It was a good solid goatee.
Yeah, same here. I'm gonna go with that.
Definitely got outclassed pretty darn quick though. By honestly this next match, which is definitely my match of the night. New Day going over. Yes, the New Gay.
The New Gay.
New Gay.
Yes, the New Gay going over Kid and Cesaro. 2 out of 3 falls match. We may joke now, but seriously, this match was no laughing matter. I love this match.
This was great. I had a problem with the ending, and that's the only thing that's going to take it down for me.
Really, I personally loved the ending.
I did.
I thought it was very clever, and sure, it just keeps the feud going.
I just didn't like after how great the match was that it kind of was a screw job at the end.
Let's put it this way, Brian.
In a 5-star match for me, there are no screw jobs. It's like the match was great. Okay, the what's his name on the outside?
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods on the outside cheerleading was awesome. He tried to initiate the Freebird rule. The referee's like, no way, dude.
Seriously, his banter during the entire match, Xavier Woods is brilliant in every sense of the word. I love this. I love it.
This is exactly what he needed to be. Maybe not wrestle so much, but if he's out on the outside of the ring, cheerleading and just doing what he was doing all night at Payback, it was perfect. But I understand it was crisp, and I like the fact that they came out with the same hairstyles, so it would actually work.
Or close enough to them.
Close enough that it would actually work. But the only matches that I give perfect ratings to are ones that don't have a screw job ending at the end. Great match. Was kind of short. Was a little short for me for a 2 out of 3 falls match. Was a little short. So I'm going to go full beard. Edging on goat face, but sticking with the full beard.
There's one thing you're just not looking at, Brian. Not only is this wrestling, they are also telling a story in the ring.
I understand.
Wait, let me go. They're telling a story in the ring, and they wanting to keep this feud going. They want to keep this storyline going into Elimination Chamber. And yeah, and I'm seconding Jeff on this one. This was match of the night for me because it was entertaining as a wrestling match, and it was entertaining as a story. And having Xavier Woods coming out, same hairdo as Kofi, and actually them pulling their cheap win actually advances the story, what these guys are willing to do, and that their positivity can be their positivity overlooks them doing all their dirty tactics, because in the end they still are the victors. They're making their quote quote evil actions into their positives. So
did someone say positive?
So in the end, it was, I'm going to ignore you.
You can't ignore the power.
New Day!
And you both know how much of a New Day hater I was when these guys first came together.
They just needed the switch.
And they just needed the switch. And it actually is working for them beautifully. I am now a fan of the New Day because they're doing their characters justice, and them doing what they did in this match actually made it even more great because it doesn't hurt either guys in the end when it comes to the wrestling, and it keeps their story going for Cesaro and Kid versus the New Day.
Now, it's still definitely my match of the night. There was nothing that beat it quality-wise. Okay? The main reason I'm giving it a 4 is that basically it was short.
It didn't feel short to me.
It felt short to me. It felt like it. First of all, the first fall was done within 3 minutes. Okay,
I thought it went at a fairly brisk pace.
I can
see.
It was like
it was short.
It was so good. It left me kind of feeling like, wait, it's over? And I don't like...
But did you feel unfulfilled?
I felt kind of unfulfilled at the end. Like, it was a great...
She said,
stop it, she's a whore.
I knew he was going for it, but it's like...
Please, sometimes the jokes, they just write themselves.
And you just grabbed onto a hook, line, and sinker.
The second fall was amazing. The second fall was perfect. The first fall was too short, and the third fall kind of came out of nowhere. That's what she said. And then,
so many whores.
Too many whores.
And that's when the whores came.
Excuse me, what was that?
But yeah, I can't give it a go face because it kind of left me unfulfilled at the end. But it's still match of the night, and it was still great. I don't feel like I'm short shrifting it by saying that it's still match of the night.
Oh no,
but full beard.
I'm just It is very fair, and I'm actually going to give it a very high, enthusiastic goat face, because I was entertained from the second the bell rang to the second the match ended with the other bell ring. But yeah, everything. I liked how it all went out. Yes, the first fall was relatively quick, but it was just the way to show the dominance of your face team of Cesaro and Kidd and how awesome they are. The second fall was the more storytelling of them taking out Cesaro and Tyson Kidd fighting with all his might, but he couldn't overpower the New Day.
I love the selling of the spear through the ropes by Cesaro.
Yeah.
He was out.
Yes, and so, it was just a very entertaining story, and I 100% understand why you felt like you didn't feel complete in it, because the way we look at it, it's not a complete storyline. This is the middle chapter of a feud. So you're just it did its job with you wanting more. And it left me wanting more, and I just don't want this feud to end. So I am that much hooked in on it. So that is a full-on goat face, yay. I can't wait for the Elimination Chamber match, even though I really disagree with Los Matadores being there. But
that's just completely random.
That's random. You also got primetime players coming back.
Yes.
Rowan and Harper don't get in, but the Matadores do.
One thing I read about that is Los Matadores are in there because they know they're going to lose. They don't want a newly formed Harper and Rowan to actually look weak in it and actually get their pinfall.
That does make sense.
So, from what I understand, they're going to have the next feud be Harper and Rowan finally going after these tag titles. And fingers crossed on, I guess I could say for all of us, they actually do win it.
Yeah, they're not going up against the Usos this time. So that's...
is it really bad to say I miss them, but I don't at the same time?
I don't miss them.
They're pretty much just John Cena of the tag division. Them being absent automatically switches it up.
And now we actually have tag teams stepping up their game. That's why I don't miss them, but I do miss. They actually are really entertaining guys.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're entertaining. They put on good matches, but I don't miss them in the tag title scene. I don't.
Oh, the tag title scene.
It's like John Cena. John Cena's in a great place right now because it's like he's not in the world title scene, which works completely for me. He's in the United States title scene. That is basically the
great build.
It's basically the top title. The top built title in the WWE right now, because it's getting exposure every week. Like, the title's on the line every week,
except this past week.
Because the match didn't actually happen.
A match didn't happen. It was a promo war, but we'll get onto that later.
The title is featured every week, where before Cena had it, it was like, oh, we'll defend it once every other month.
Well, you know what? We're already getting into it. Let's just sort of jump around a bit. Cena Rusev.
This was dumb.
Cena went over Rusev.
This was dumb.
I liked it.
I didn't either.
This was dumb. It was a good what we expected it to be. And even though the ending was relatively predictable, the lead up to it, I actually really enjoyed.
My thing was John Cena didn't seem to me like John Cena was selling that he was getting his ass kicked. He's talking and there was too much of Mike Chioda asking, Do you quit? Do you quit? And then John Cena's only reaction, when at least Rusev was screaming in pain and couldn't actually answer. All John Cena does is no.
It sounded more like It didn't sound like John Cena was in a wrestling match as much as he just went to the Arby's and he just told them they were out of roast beef.
It's like
no.
Rusev knew he was in an I Quit match. Rusev sold like he was in an I Quit match.
He John Cena's like a dying grizzly bear.
Yeah, John Cena sold like I don't even know how to compare it.
Let me ask.
Burger King is out of fries.
Let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys this. Really think about this. When is the real last time you actually see Cena actually selling a match? Especially after the match is over. he kind of just like celebrates like nothing. He's just like, oh yeah, no. It's just...
Last time I remember was JBL versus John Cena, the Last Man Standing match where he was bleeding from the face.
And what year was that?
But that was like 2005.
Exactly.
That was like
was the
he's
last time
bleeding from the
it.
face, hanging from the truck.
But
that was part of.
That was the last time you actually seen Cena actually show that he's taken damage in a match. So I'm not at all surprised with you saying he seems like he's just brushing it off, because that's exactly what he's doing. And at least with Rusev, the only thing that I actually that actually was like holy Christmas, what just happened? Was the whole scene with the pyrotechnics.
That was cool.
Yeah,
that was so. That actually
and he
showed.
Still got up and walked away.
And he still got up.
because it was obvious. They pointed the camera. He didn't hit the pyro.
Oh yeah, but still.
But it's like it was a cool visual, and you see him rolling away screaming. But it's like for a fact he didn't hit the pyro.
Hey,
so it's like,
hey, we all know for a fact Goldust really didn't get electrocuted that one time when Evolution jumped him.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, this is wrestling. That kind of stuff happens.
Yeah.
I just, at least in other I Quit matches, John Cena sold the mic better. Like he had constipation face. He always has constipation face, but he would go on the mic, no, or whatever. This time 25 minutes into the match, he's going, no.
Hell no. No. Hell no. No. No.
And it's not even as enthusiastic as you were just doing. He was like, no. Hell no. It was like he didn't care. He didn't care. It made me not care.
Exactly.
So it's like
exactly it.
It was a good brawl, but I can't get it up to a goatee. I'm giving it a high peach fuzz.
I really wasn't entertained in this match. Other than that pyro bit, I wasn't sold on anything.
And my prediction was right.
And
it didn't throw in the white. She didn't throw in the white towel, but she did quit for him.
Even though they're hinting at it, saying, "Oh yeah, you did quit, but Bulgarian,
Yeah. You quit in a different language.
You said it in a different language, so you still quit. But whatever. But for me, I wasn't at all invested in this match. I'm actually just going to give this a clean shaven. I just didn't care.
Wow.
I can't go that low.
I was just not entertained. Because, like what we were just complaining of before, John Cena does not know how to sell anymore. Anymore. Since 2005.
And it's like in other I Quit matches, at least he was like enthusiastically saying no.
Now he's just kind of like,
no.
I know. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I know. Oh. Well, that was a very convincing joke. But still, I just, from Cena not being 100% in this by no selling and no being put in the I Quit.
Yeah, I'm just sort of disillusioned by his no selling. I just sort of take that as a status quo.
That's why
I know it sucks, but
stop putting John Cena in special matches. He does great when it's a normal match. When it's a one-on-one, him and Sami Zayn was great. Him basically facing everybody in this challenge is great. You put him in a special match, he suddenly turns into no.
That's why, I even said that last week. It's like I'm looking forward to these open challenges now because now there's no boring Rusev storyline to hold it down. Now he can do whatever he wants.
Now we get
KO.
Yeah,
now we get Kevin Owens with
Kevin Owens, which made me soil myself.
I loved every second of that promo.
And he actually hung with Cena.
I love the fact that John Cena tried to treat him like a boy, like just coming in, and he was like,
"I've been doing this for 15 years. You may have gotten your spot, but it took me a while to get here. But I've been doing this a lot longer than you have."
Yeah, and then he was like,
beautiful.
And then he was just like, "We're gonna fight. We are, but not on your terms. On my terms."
On a side note, did anyone happen to see the video of when his wife took video of
the son,
of his son's reaction?
Dad's fighting John Cena, really?
He's with John Cena? That was cute. That was adorable.
That was
just great.
And you know what? It makes me that much more excited to see where they're going to go with this now.
The promo announcing
especially when they're going to fight at Elimination Chamber, literally next week. It's going to be gorgeous.
Oh wow!
The promo for
yeah, I know, right?
It's like prediction show, reaction show, and now another prediction show.
The promo for the announcement for the match left a little bit to be desired. Yeah, that was not Kevin Owens' best, but what he did in the ring with John Cena, like. That's the first time I've seen John Cena actually take a powerbomb right.
Right.
That's it. He took it on his back.
And I just love when Owens just took a stomp on the U.S. title. I'm just like, yeah.
Well, if you want to bring him in, big heel. There you go.
And
and putting over the pay-per-view.
Putting over NXT, the NXT title, saying that's his prize. That's the real prize to go after.
And I'll have something more to say for the Elimination Chamber when we get to that specific.
I know there's going to be a lot next week.
No, not even next week. When we get to that specific point in the later on.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Anyway, moving on. Next match, we have Bray Wyatt going over Ryback. I actually really enjoyed this.
Like, the WWE have done really well since the Rumble, how to put on a big man match. Okay, you had Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. You have this. This was great. It was close. It was close for me because I got everything I wanted out of this match. It was close to actually getting match of the night, but then I thought about it, and wrestling was better in the tag team match. But Ryback hit a splash from the top rope.
That was surprising.
Yeah, right?
And Bray Wyatt, I think, legitimately broke ribs. Legitimately. He landed straight on his stomach.
Yeah, that looked like it hurt.
I was like,
it looked like Bray Wyatt slipped and fell off the apron almost.
I gotta look because I actually didn't notice that he looked.
Maybe it was just to me. I don't know.
I didn't notice.
It could just be me. But either way, I expected a monster mash, and that's exactly what I got. It was a big giant.
They beat the crap out of each other for 15 minutes, and it was awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Full beard across the board.
I actually wasn't expecting ratings that high, but I'll concur with that.
And it's actually kind of funny that they're kind of moving on with this. Like, it was just a one-time feud, and now Ryback is now in the Intercontinental title Elimination Chamber, and Bray Wyatt is.
And Bray Wyatt is going to cryptically.
He's having a thing.
Get into somebody else's head.
Right now, he's doing a thing with Dean Ambrose he's unofficially a part of the world title picture, and hopefully this will slowly move him into that in the near future, which he really does deserve it.
Done. Even if Ryback is just sort of a transitional feud, quote unquote, for Bray Wyatt right now. Hey, they did their job well. They really did.
And this was my shocker if Ryback won. So
no shock.
Bray Wyatt won. Good for me.
Speaking of good for me, I got one match in particular right. This next match, Neville going over King Barrett.
This was dumb.
Technically by count out, but
I didn't like this match.
I didn't like the count out.
It wasn't even
I didn't like it either. But
I didn't like it either, and really the match was.
The match was meh.
Was very exactly. Really? Best way to put it. It was meh. Nothing like their King of the Ring finals was more entertaining than this. Their pre-show match at Extreme Rules, was it Extreme Rules?
Extreme
Rules. Their pre-show match was more entertaining than this. This was just a filler, and it just
And these two deserve better.
And these two, yes, especially with now that Barrett's in the IC title chamber match, and now Neville is back to feuding with Bo Dallas.
Yeah, Neville should have been in the chamber. He should have been. Easily. But
instead, you got R-Truth.
Your favorite filler guy.
Okay.
You know what?
Please answer me this, guys. What is it about R-Truth that gets him into these big profile matches.
You know what? I love R-Truth being in this match because I love when your face turns red.
Seriously, is that picture with him laughing with Vince McMahon that's so special that he's that close to Vince McMahon? And he's like, hey, can you just put me in the IC match? Well, sure!
You're gonna be the first. Similar? No, it's like, you're gonna be the first one out, right? Yeah. Screw it. Put me in there.
You say that and just watch. He's going to be like one of the final three just to insult
He's going to be the last one. He's going to be. He's going to. He won't win, but he'll be in the final two. And I'll just be looking at you like, what happens if he wins? How badly is his head going to explode?
Here's another question. Other than Neville, like you have Randy Orton and Roman Reigns doing nothing for this pay-per-view. Why not throw them? Put in big names. Well, Randy Orton, big name, and then your new up-and-coming face. Hell, if anything, have one of them win the IC title to help bring relevance back to it.
Here's my problem. Why isn't the World Heavyweight title being defended in the Elimination Chamber?
Who knows? Honestly, as far as that goes, since they really only have like half the time to build up a pay-per-view, I'm convinced that this next week coming up is going to be very, very important to whatever they're going to do for the Elimination Chamber.
Because, you have five guys. You have five guys because you put in Bray Wyatt because they put him against Dean Ambrose. You put in Randy Orton. You put in Roman Reigns. And then you pick a sixth.
Kane or Big Show.
Yeah, they can easily throw something like that together.
But do you really think they'll actually have an event with 3 Elimination Chambers?
Probably.
Well, I wouldn't doubt it. I was shocked that they were going to do a tag team and an intercontinental. I thought that the Elimination Chamber was going to be like, you're going to have one for the big title. And
from what I heard as a rumor, they're actually planning on having Orton and Roman Reigns versus Big Show and Kane.
Oh God!
And they have the Elimination Chamber mainly for the IC title because if they put the world title in it, it'll just undermine them trying to rebuild the IC title. Understandable, stupid, but understandable. I mean, like I said, if instead of throwing him in a tag team match with Big Show and Kane, which nobody wants, you just heard your reactions to the thought of it. So why not add the 2 big names to help build relevancy to the IC title, which is the main focus of this paper?
Because I don't see anyone in that Intercontinental title match that can do big things in that chamber.
Exactly.
That can do big show-stopping moves in that chamber. Put Neville in that chamber, we're getting a red arrow from the top of one of the chambers. Boom! There's your star of the match, then you can take him out.
Instead, you're giving him Bo Dallas. But yeah, other than, I'm actually okay with all the other guys. Barrett, Ziggler, Sheamus, Ryback, hell, Rusev. He may be a key factor in winning it, but I'm not making a prediction, a full-on who's going to win, but I am 100% certain. I think a heel is going to walk out of that match champion.
Easily.
At this rate, I'm almost positive that this next week is going to set the stage for the rest of the week pretty significantly.
For the pay-per-view, yeah.
Yeah, again, we got next week.
We have another prediction show.
But this match in itself was really kind of useless on this pay-per-view. It was basically meh. But because of the participants and
it was time filler.
It was time filler. Yeah. It was perfectly acceptable. Go with a peach fuzz.
Yeah. I'm actually going to stick with that too. I'm giving it a peach fuzz.
Can't beat it there. Anyway, here we are. Main event. Fatal 4-way. Seth Rollins went over.
Loser gets the Bears.
That was a great little line. I love that.
Loser gets the Bears.
Yeah. I first thing I will say about this is golf clap to you, fool, for actually predicting the man who is going to take the fall with Randy Orton. And here's my question: even with him doing the pedigree on Monday, is Seth Rollins slowly going to have the pedigree as transition it into his finishing move?
I think I don't think it's going to be his main finishing move, but I can definitely see him picking it up as like an alternate.
A signature move?
Yeah, sort of like Randy Orton's got the RKO and the punt.
It's like, signature move!
Not even a signature move, just an alternate finisher. Kind of like what Randy Orton does between the RKO and the punt.
Mm-hmm.
And the result actually keeps my hopes and dreams of a triple threat match at SummerSlam for the title alive.
I'm convinced it will happen sooner rather than later.
I want it to happen at SummerSlam. Have Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins
for the title.
For the title.
This was I could see that happening, and just from this match, it was fun. It wasn't exactly the most like wrestling match, but that's what happens when you turn it into a no DQ match and then everybody gets involved.
I like the 10-second Shield reunion.
I was just about to say that. It was like,
that was cool.
I love the small hint of that, and it was just...
And then Seth Rollins goes for the pound, and the other two are like...
No, first they were like, yeah. No.
And then they throw him on the...
It just shows that if they ever reunite the Shield, everybody will love it. You heard that reaction with the triple power bomb.
They were cheering for Seth Rollins. That's all I need to know.
It was so good.
They can do that anytime they want.
They were cheering for Seth Rollins. They were cheering for Roman Reigns. I haven't heard that amount of cheers for Roman Reigns in how long?
Since there are matches with Evolution.
Well, of course, because he's not in the ring alone.
But seriously, and then the double power bomb. The first one kind of the Spanish announce table. The Spanish announce table. Finally getting its revenge. Like, you know how in Botchamania you have the tables laughing when they don't get through? It's like, the Spanish announce
Joke's
table...
on you, tough guy.
The Spanish announce table is like, ha ha ha, you have been putting people through me for years. Now I get to fight back. And then the second time, oh no, they finally put me through.
The Japanese table is like, I have taught you well.
I have taught you well.
You will graduate one day, young Padawan.
This match, all I can say is it was like wrestling wise, nothing spectacular, but it really was fun.
Absolutely,
so much fun in this match. I was really hooked in. Another match, I was just like, focus right on the TV from beginning to end. And
overall rating for the pay-per-view.
For the match, I'll give it a full beard. For the pay-per-view, 10 times better than Extreme Rules. Great build for each match, even the matches that weren't very good. I'm just but the Rusev Cena thing and the madness of of King Barrett and Neville, I'm just gonna give just a normal full beard.
I'm gonna go with full beard also. It was a really, really good pay-per-view, but it still had some pretty big flaws, but you know what? It was pretty much all I can expect from a WWE pay-per-view, reasonably. Full beard.
I will go classic goatee for both. The basically what he said,
the Fatal 4-Way
for the Fatal 4-Way, for the Fatal 4-Way, except when the wrestling is it was fun, it was good, but the wrestling wasn't really there.
Mm-hmm.
The Shield reunion was great. It had its moments, and it was good all the way through. But there was nothing that kind of got to that next level for me.
Wait, what did I give the match?
You gave it a full beard.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I'm good.
Yeah.
I actually did mean a classic goatee on the match. The event is the full beard. Yeah,
and I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go classic goatee on the event. It was so much better than Extreme Rules. So much. I could have missed Extreme Rules and not missed a thing. I would have been upset to miss this pay-per-view. But I'll give it a classic OT because you had the Rusev versus Cena, and that was a selling match on the card. So you would expect it to be good. And that's why I can't get it to full beard, because one of your top build matches kind of shit the bed, honestly. So everything was good. Okay, it was a perfectly good pay-per-view, I would recommend going on the network and watching it. Just skip over the Rusev and Cena because it was dumb. And Neville versus Barrett was kind of just there. But everything else was good enough. Classic OT.
And what about the Raw after? What? I'm just not going to go into any details because we did that for the pay-per-view. What would your facial hair rating be for the build for the Elimination Chamber?
I didn't... There was nothing that I absolutely hated, and there was nothing that I absolutely loved. It was good, there was bad. Put them both together. I watched it and I wasn't bored. So, classic OT.
I'm... Fool.
I really don't have much to say about this Raw. It's an entirely average Raw, and unless something really spectacular happens, I feel like I really can't give it a beard rating, honestly.
For me, I actually just mainly I wanted to bring this up to you guys. The build for Payback was very good Raws. Each Raw for build for Payback was a full beard. This one, I would actually have to give the classic a very low classic goatee for one real major factor, and that's the return of Stephanie. Normally, I like it when Stephanie's on TV, but her presence on this Raw definitely took it down for me. She added really nothing new, and she was just revamping old feuds that were long over.
Yeah, the big thing with Stephanie, with the McMahon, okay, your presence on the screen should be minimal, okay? So when you're on the screen, it means more. So when you're on the screen, you need to do something that is like, wow, okay? When Vince comes on,
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, okay? It needs to start becoming that way with Stephanie.
Well, this is the first time Stephanie's been on Raw pretty much since WrestleMania.
And you know what? I didn't notice, I didn't care.
And you didn't notice.
Exactly.
And then, like I said, she was really revamping storylines. Like when they were talking about the IC title thing. She was once again trashing on Daniel Bryan, the same pretty much repeat of when he got injured last year. And then her getting involved with the Bella twins, saying, "Oh, you're in your title match? Oh, I'm going to give... because what's happening to your husband, you're going into therapy." Same exact thing from last year, and it's once again showing that even though they are still the faces of the Divas division, the Bella Twins still can't act for their lives. They're just like, "Oh, Brie, you're out of this match," and then Nikki, "Are you serious? Really?" And it's like, okay, I had a problem with the Bella Twins automatically turning face for no reason.
I was just about to bring that up.
For no reason at all. It's just because they faced a heel Naomi, they're automatically a face. At least with Cesaro and Kid, they actually had a legit reason. They had they had the New Day pull a heel victory on them, so you're siding with the team that got screwed, who were very good. When it comes to the Bellas, they even pulled a heel tactic to beat a heel Naomi. And they still are now, they're automatically a face. Like, oh yeah, the whole feuding Bellas thing with Nikki joining with Stephanie, that's now completely in void because now they're a face again.
I only have one thing to say about this Raw and this feud in general. When Stephanie came out and said you're going to therapy, am I the only one who is eagerly chomping at the bit for the return of Dr. Shelby?
I was not eagerly chomping at the bit because it's not someone the caliber of Daniel Bryan and Kane. Okay? No. Imagine Dr. Shelby trying to play off the Bella Twins.
No.
It'd be better than nothing.
I don't think so.
I'd rather have it be nothing. I'd rather have the whole New Day thing with Dr. Shelby. Dr. Shelby with the New Day that I talked about weeks ago. With them trying to have their positively hold in their anger. And that's a tactic that they're learning from Dr. Shelby. That would have been fun.
You need the right combination of people for Dr. Shelby to come back. The Bella Twins... I was going to ask, okay, when did the Bella Twins turn face? But then you went on that rant. Yeah, so it's like, whatever.
I honestly don't care about the Bella Twins. They're being poorly
and then it's, like I said, it was
worth my time.
The whole point of it is, the reason this Raw didn't work was Stephanie. Because she was just like, oh yeah!
Change it up!
Yeah, change it up! She's pretty much pulling the same thing she's been doing ever since the Authority came together. And at least with Triple H, he actually is evolving, being an actual authoritative figure.
Yeah. A McMahon on WWE TV should be a game changer. Okay? When Vince McMahon is on TV, it changes the game. Okay? For Stephanie McMahon, okay. Now, admittedly, the reason the Daniel Bryan thing is the same from last year is because it's the same exact.
It didn't need to be.
It didn't need to be, but how are you going to play that differently?
Honestly, just don't play it.
So
don't play the card.
It's
because we don't need to have retelling of something that was long overplayed.
Yeah, and my final question. Okay, I guess we can't call her Evil Bella Boobs anymore, huh? We can only call her Bella Boobs.
Well, her boobs are still evilly manipulative, so... Yeah.
I don't know. We can't call her evil if it's a heel.
At this time, I think it's basically just a term of endearment as far as it comes to us.
All right, Evil Bella Boobs stays.
Yeah. Okay, right, and I'll just end it with this. Your whole McMahon making a statement thing, I felt like Triple H showing up like every 2 weeks. That was actually doing more than what Stephanie did.
Exactly.
So that's why like the whole build for Payback, because Triple H may have showed up once or twice, but he's actually being that he's basically filling in the McMahon thing that Stephanie is just not doing. But yeah, that
he's giving ultimatums. He's making matches. He's making good matches.
He's being the boss, and Stephanie is just being Stephanie. And you can only be Stephanie for so long to a point. It's like, okay, we're kind of sick.
Stephanie's getting old. I'm sorry,
but yeah, that's
a lot of things with like authority angles.
But that's
that's not here nor there.
But that's why I'm just like this Raw was lackluster compared to other ones, except for Kevin Owens and Cena. But that's in its own category. But all right, that's a good segue to talk about NXT Takeover. I was like, unstoppable.
Yes, I didn't really see what you're building to, but yeah, let's get into it. This was, to me, was like the big thing that overshadowed everything. NXT Takeover, Unstoppable. That's Unstoppable.
When there's an NXT pay-per-view like event, who cares what happened on Raw?
Yeah, I was like, you actually want to say something about Raw? Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Because certain events in life happened, I was only able to watch Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze and Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. The matches in between, I actually didn't see. So I'm actually gonna I'll put in my 2 cents on certain number of things, the stuff that I was actually available for. But when it comes to all the other matches, I'm gonna just let you guys go on.
So you didn't even see the match of the night.
Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm actually going to watch this event.
You soon. Better.
Relatively very soon.
Tomorrow. Do it.
If I have the time.
You have
the time. Like I said.
You make the time.
Like I said, I am in a life. It's like life gets in the way, but I will make time for this. I just from the first and last match, I was like, oh, this is something I have to watch, and I am just taking down I'm clawing at the outside, knowing the inside is going to be awesome.
Okay, well, first off, you said something about Tyler Breeze versus Finn Balor. I didn't see that match. All I saw was Prince Pretty coming out to a whole bunch of selfies, and then the vessel for Cthulhu comes out, who was also Batman, and
I want to see.
It was amazing.
I'll say this for Prince Pretty, okay? There is no one else who can pull off that role the way that he does.
Oh, I agree.
Okay, holy crap!
Tyler Breeze that
dude knows how to get into his role, man. and Finn Balor, what can you say?
The vessel for Cthulhu.
The vessel for Cthulhu. What can you say about this man's entrance?
I want to see him and Kane have one little backstage interaction, just walking, something similar to what Kane did, both walking in on Adam Rose and why am I keep blanking out on her name? Rosa Mendez. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
but
I totally
instead of something stupid like that, actually have something awesome like having those two.
I kind of want
demons.
I kind of want Kane to have an open challenge with the whole mask and all that. If he ever puts the mask back on, have him go out to the ring with the whole pyro and all that, and then open challenge, and then Finn Balor's entrance, and he comes out fully decked out in paint, his NXT pay-per-view entrances and just be like, and Kane's like,
of course,
when even a demon is looking at you like,
I approve.
Yeah.
So basically, we all know what happened. Finn Balor went over, and he is now the number one contender for the NXT title.
It's such a shame that Hideo Itami
hurt himself.
Yeah.
He's out for.
I was actually waiting for you to do it.
Kojima!
Thank you.
I didn't even know what you were going at.
If you didn't tell, I was like, pause, turn to Brian, and Brian had the dead face. So I'm like,
no.
Why aren't you saying
The problem is because you already said the last name. You can't say the last name or the joke doesn't work. You gotta say Hideo Kojima!
Okay, when Hideo
Kojima
was not in the match for obvious injury reasons, that it hurt, but it's understandable, and I can't wait for him to get back into this so he can be put in the title picture. Yeah. It's gonna be so much fun.
I have a feeling that he was gonna win. Hideo was gonna win if it was a triple threat match. But
I would not have been surprised
because Finn Balor really got his shot.
It's
already.
Let's face it,
but it's like Finn Balor's gonna be on the main roster soon enough. So it's like, but where does this leave later on?
Hey.
But
see where that
the match was great.
The match was great.
It's a Finn Balor Prince Pretty match. They're always great.
You can't lose.
Is
Prince Pretty new?
No.
Is this a new thing?
No.
He called himself Prince Pretty for a long time.
Really? Why have I not noticed this? I guess I'm not paying attention fully when it comes to Tyler Breeze.
You're just enamored by his beautiful eyes.
I guess.
You're enamored by his selfie stick.
Have you ever looked into his eyes? It was like the first time I heard the Beatles.
Anyway, moving on. Next up, we had a women's tag match: Charlotte and Bayley versus going over apparently Evil Emma and is debuting Dana Brooke?
Not debuting.
No, not debuting.
Not debuting.
She's had a couple matches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so either way, we got
enough where there's a semi feud between her and Charlotte.
Okay.
It was good.
I've been watching NXT consistently, but
this was to me the weak link.
Keeping onto your deals.
Well,
this was to me the weak link of tonight.
It's nothing against you.
No, I'm not saying it like that. But anyway, go on.
Of Unstoppable, this was kind of the weak link for me, but not like that's a bad thing. It was still a classic OT, but it was. There's not really much you could say. It was just
a good solid match.
It was a good solid Diva tag team match. It's no screw ups too big, no screw ups too noticeable.
No,
it was short. You can't really.
I got nothing to say.
Yeah, you can't really give
agree
it
with you or anything.
You can't give it really any more than a classic OT because it was short.
Yeah, but they did. The ladies did what they needed to do.
They did what they needed to do. The match did what it was supposed to do. Classic OT.
Yeah. This next match, though, I didn't really care for. Baron Corbin beating Rhino.
I like Baron Corbin. I'll give it a 3.
I don't like Baron Corbin. He bores me.
I like Baron. I like the way they're trying to build him, and it was good. I'll give it a classic OT.
To me, this was more of a peach fuzz. Not because
was the match quality bad?
Nah, it's more like I don't like Baron Corbin's gimmick.
Oh, okay.
He's like Roman Reigns, except less buff and less animated.
Okay.
Yeah. With a better finisher.
Yeah, I just don't really care too much.
Him doing that finisher to Rhino was enough for me. You know what the end of days looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that on Rhino.
Yeah,
perfect.
That was fine, but
ginormaloid Rhino.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yes, I called him a ginormaloid.
I liked it. I like a big man match, and these
when it's done right. Yeah.
When it's done right, and this was done right enough for me. I'm not gonna take points off because I don't. Baron Corbin's gimmick is blend. I will give you that. He is Blendy McBlenderson. But this was a good. This was good.
It's a good.
I liked it.
Blenderson.
It was. Rhino came in to put over young guys. He was booked as a monster when he was in the WWE. So put the guy over who they're trying to book like a monster right now on NXT. Mm-hmm. It makes all the sense in the world, and it did what it needed to do. Classic OT.
Yeah, it was fine.
That's what they do.
That's what they do. Speaking of that's what they do, next up we got our NXT Tag Title match. The Seizure Squad went over the best tag team in the company. Seriously, have you seen their entrance? I can't look at without having a headache.
The Seizure Squad. If only.
Their entrance is so bad. It's so bad.
You know what's even worse? The reason that they actually won their match is because someone ran interference.
Alexa Bliss
turned
heel.
No. Yeah, really? It's like glitter, glitz, sparkle. I'm turning heel, and I'm going. And apparently, this is a spoiler for
me.
No, for actually just about everything. Apparently, as of this recording, they did a NXT TV taping. Alexa Bliss no longer has that little blue streak. Her little blue streak is now red because she's teaming up with Blake and Murphy.
I was going to say it's turned red because, she's evil.
Well, that too, but now she just teamed up with the Seizure Squad.
It's like...
Now the question is, are they treating her like Trish Stratus with Christian? Is she going to start randomly making out with both members of the tag team?
I'm going to say no, just because neither Blake or Murphy deserve such an honor.
It's true.
I was going to say more like Trish Stratus bringing up Test and Albert as like the center point between the two guys. But that
would be good.
Trish Stratus, Christian. Okay.
I
wasn't okay.
I can't just get past the mental image of Alexa Bliss parading around in those tight little booty shorts and a corset thing.
Why do you think she's mine? You can have your Sasha Banks. I'll take my Alexa Bliss. Hey, I'll take Alexa Bliss, and I'll take the match of the night.
I thought you were talking about this next up one. This was basically. It's ironic that this happened on Wednesday because this is pretty much Women Crush Wednesday, the match. Waifu Battles 2000. Yeah, Sasha Banks my girl going over Becky Lynch, who actually looked fantastic in her own right. This legit was match of the night.
I heard that this match stole the show.
And this was glorious
in a huge way.
I'm looking forward to this match. I cannot.
It quite possibly could be like match of the year contender, legit.
I believe it.
Honestly, I was watching on Twitter a little bit afterwards. Lance Storm put it best. This was more than just one of the best NXT women's title matches in its history. This was one of the best NXT matches, period. So we may joke about, Becky Lynch is hot, Sasha Banks is hot. No. I am a legit fan of both these women.
Yeah.
I've always loved Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I was sort of on the fence about. No. Last night, this was the match that made me a believer as Becky Lynch.
I honestly
improved 1,000-fold, and she can hang in the title picture any day. This match proved it. This was a thing of beauty.
She's the next Divas champion, the next NXT Divas champion.
No, NXT Women's Champion. Don't compare it to the crap title in the main roster.
Let's face it. I knew you sort of fumbled over your words, but let's face it. We all know what you're talking about, and you know what? No matter how you slice it, it's still a term of endearment.
Yes.
Yeah. These ladies prove that they are champions.
So good. There's no doubt. Let all the goats out of the bed.
Yeah, this is...
Let it out.
I can't wait to watch this.
So, goat faces for everyone. That's it. That's how good this match was.
Sasha, I love you. Becky, I also love you.
We're gonna fight. You can't have Becky too.
I don't care. I'm giving
to
your girl, but hey, the proper lady won. The boss. She's the boss for a reason.
The boss.
The boss.
The boss.
Like a boss. Anyway, so yeah, that was my match of the night. But this is also pretty solid too. Owens and Zayn was a no contest.
This was basically story driven. It's a way to get Sami Zayn out so we can fix his. So he can fix his shoulder. But
the reason
it doesn't matter. this.
It was just the setup.
The match doesn't matter.
The chair, and all of a sudden,
the match doesn't matter because
Godzilla music, a stock version of "Mama Said Knock You Out," and then it happened.
We're getting Samoa Joe versus Kevin Owens.
And he just came out. He does that Samoa Joe sneer that he's always so good at, and it was like, and he actually looked like he was trimmed up. He lost a ton of weight, but he still looks like that Samoa Joe badass.
And that's how Kevin.
It's not like the fact he looked bulk, like
yeah, he looked like
he's been working out since he left TNA.
WWE basically upgraded their Samoans pretty much.
Yeah. Who cares about the Usos? We got the real
I was
Samoan.
talking about Roman Reigns. Forget him. We got the Samoan submission machine. Literally.
Go, Joe.
No, don't give them ideas. You know they're gonna team them up. That's it. Now that you said that.
Side thing, yeah. Again, we were talking about this earlier. Apparently, Samoa Joe signed a particular type of deal. It supposedly is like a new sort of deal where not only does he get to keep the name, but he also gets to do the occasional independent booking. Yeah. At least while he's in NXT, they're sort of trying this whole new contract.
I like that idea.
Yeah, apparently it seems to be working out well. And apparently, I'm not sure if you guys heard this, right after NXT went off the air, they sold that shirt on Shop Zone.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Before tomorrow morning, they sold out of everything but like gigantic, fat ass, extra large, and small.
Yeah.
Everything else sold out in less than 24 hours.
I
think surprised? They got gold here.
Here's the one thing that I love about this.
I actually wanted to buy one and I couldn't.
The one thing I really loved
nothing there.
The one thing I loved about this is with NXT, it's Samoa Joe pretty much from TNA, from Ring of Honor, from the independent circuit. It's not a new Samoa Joe that you're saying, oh, what you did outside WWE doesn't matter. He came in as Samoa Joe that we all know. Rhyming. But it's exactly that. It's Samoa Joe it's the name that was made excuse me, outside WWE coming in. It's not a brand new take. Okay, go on. I got
some clear like it.
This is how and this is how Kevin Owens loses at Elimination Chamber. Okay. This is how, in a perfect world, this is how you book the John Cena versus Kevin Owens. You want both of them looking strong. Okay. Kevin Owens has John Cena down for the count. Here comes generic Mama Said Knock You Out music, and Samoa Joe just starts walking towards the ring at Elimination Chamber. And Kevin Owens just takes the eye off the ball.
I can see that happen.
So Kevin Owens loses,
but it doesn't hurt him.
It doesn't hurt, which is exactly what you need. You don't need Kevin Owens losing clean to John Cena, okay? Because man, but this so good.
It was so good.
Yeah, okay, how is this Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor match going to work?
That's exactly what was brought to my attention. In kayfabe, Kevin Owens just sort of screwed himself into a corner because he's basically feuding with Sami Zayn, John Cena, Samoa Joe, and Finn Balor at the very least, all at once.
Good for him.
He's boned. He is
Somebody's going to get him.
He is going to lose that title to one of those guys. Easy.
Except Cena.
Either he's going to get wrecked.
It's going to be a fun few months for KO.
Oh yeah, no matter what he does next, no matter what the next week has in store. It's going to be beautiful.
Speaking of Kevin Owens, we'll end the show with this one question. Did you guys read that whole Vince Russo bit about Kevin Owens?
I don't pay any attention to Vince Russo anymore, strictly because everything I've ever heard from him over the past 3 months just shows how completely out of touch and completely behind the times that he is.
You want to talk about Vince McMahon being...
No, he was struggling to be... This is my time to rant now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He has been completely out of touch. Like, this was first brought to my attention, at least very recently, during the whole comments when Triple H went on the Stone Cold podcast and he started talking about China. In reference to this, he said right up front that he didn't listen to the interview, but then he just keeps going off on a tangent about how he's disrespecting China or he's accusing her or something. He was being Triple H was being very unconfrontational, very diplomatic,
very honest.
Yeah, and Russo was just not paying attention to any of that, completely ignoring that, and he was just going off of what he thought he heard as opposed to completely instead of what Triple H actually said.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about Vince Russo here, someone who was desperately trying to stay relevant, 10, 15 years ago? Let alone in the year 2015 when he's actually commenting and he's still just running off of the vapors of the past. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here.
Go ahead,
but,
I don't care.
Well, again, we're also...
It's about time that Jeff went off on a rant.
Oh, I try not to do this for very often, but again, I honestly want this to be the very last time, at least for me, or it's up to you guys, but I want, in an ideal world, in my perfect world, I would like this to be ideally the last time we mention Vince Russo on this show.
You know what?
Unless he does something absolutely earth-shattering or groundbreaking that completely changes the mold and proves me wrong in a modern-day company, whether it's WWE or New Japan or Lucha Underground or whatever Global Force Wrestling is going to be. I don't think that the name Vince Russo deserves to be mentioned in any relevant discussion in the year 2015 and beyond.
Let me just put it this way, okay? He said the same thing about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the last 2 weeks. He said these guys, they're great wrestlers, but they will not make money. They will not sell t-shirts, they will not make money, and it's been proven in the last 2 weeks that is complete bullshit.
I just wanted to hear you guys completely rant.
That's
the only reason I brought him up, just so I could hear him go off on it, because I know how he feels about Vince Russo. And it was... We haven't had a rant like that from the Fool since Roman Reigns.
Since Roman Reigns, and he's saying that he should be green being beaten by Baron Corbin.
Well, you know what? I just can't help it. Whenever there are certain things in this, and let's face it, we all love wrestling. There are certain things we all love, but we all, at the end of the day, not only do we all love wrestling, but we also want to love it. And when someone like this, who's, let's face it, at this point, Vince Russo is nothing short than a blight on the professional wrestling industry. So I will say the exact same thing about Jim Cornette, and he's showing that day by day. But again, that's another discussion for another time. But you know what? Jim Cornette, Vince Russo, and rapidly Vince McMahon Jr. is really becoming a part of the people who are just a product of a different time, a product of, they're rapidly joining a core, which are rapidly becoming a danger to the industry as we know it today.
I'll say this, okay, for Vince McMahon. Okay, you want to say he's out of touch? There are two guys who are further down the stratosphere than Vince McMahon. Vince Russo hasn't had an idea of what he's been doing since 2001. Okay,
yeah.
And Jim Cornette, ever since he slapped freaking Santino Marella and got fired, he's had a bug up his ass again about anything that WWE does, good or bad. Okay, so it's like those two guys' opinions do not matter in the slightest.
I'll even add Mark Madden to that list.
Add
him to it.
Mark Madden's opinion has never mattered. That's it.
I'll just say, and I will 100% second on what the Fool said. No more talking about either three of those guys on this show anymore.
Works. It's gonna take something really huge to happen before I mention them on this.
Okay, no talking Mark Madden, Jim Cornette, or Vince Russo ever on Scholars again.
Unless
something big happens.
Unless Jim Cornette does something major with Global Force, which I doubt he will. But hey, so what are we going to call this? The
scholarly powers activate.
That shall never be named.
Just not talk about them.
Okay, fine.
Those who shall not be named.
Those who don't exist in the world of professional wrestling anymore.
All right, bringing things full circle. Final ratings for... Well, I know you haven't seen the entire show.
I can't give it, so...
All right, Brian, final ratings for Takeover. Is it... Okay, let's play. Is it anything other than a goat face?
Goats all around!
Goat faces all around. Beautiful.
For the entire event?
For the entire
it's an
event.
NXT.
Awesome.
It's an NXT event. It's an NXT pay-per-view event. They don't screw up.
It's as high a caliber as we've come to expect from NXT.
I can't wait for the one day when they finally announce it's its actual own brand now.
Yeah, seriously.
It's on the
sometime
verge.
this weekend, probably before you upload this. Just take some time, have whatever schedule you got this weekend.
Do it on Memorial Day. Have the day off.
Take your time and watch NXT Takeover.
Done and done.
Yeah, you will love it.
Done and done.
And you know what? We know you guys are going to love it too, as if you haven't already. What do you think about what's coming up next? Any of the pay-per-views this past week? Anything that happened at all? We want to hear from you. So, of course, you can always contact us at the usual channels. Like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to see more. Of course, if you're watching this on our Facebook page, you know you can subscribe to us if you like us there. And if you're like, hey, what is Facebook? What is this page you speak of? Look us up on Facebook, run a search for the Scholars of Wrestling Show. We'll pop right up. Like us there too. We always like to be liked.
Follow us on Twitter.
Everybody likes to be liked.
Yes. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle should be in either the description below or on the annotation on the screen where you're seeing right now. Hey, maybe if we're feeling particularly saucy, it all just popped up right on the screen as soon as you click this video. So, hey, you know where to reach us. I think you know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled.
You're welcome.
See you next week for yet another pay-per-view that's supposedly...
So many pay-per-views!
All of them. Chambers.